One day I'm gonna be everything I wanna be. I don't let it get the most of me. One day I'm gonna be free. I wanna be everything I'm gonna be. My future right in front of me. One day I'm gonna be free. I wanna be free. Then let me be free. From the depths of darkness, a voice emerges. A host with a fire burning in his soul. With a heart, steel, and a spirit unbroken. He rides on to his ready to claim his throne. Amidst the chaos and the thunderous roar, insane wheels rise as a force to be reckoned with. Fueled by the power that only metal can bestow. He takes his stand, refusing to submit. Insane wheels hear his last one cry. Metal and mayhem will never die. Rituals report and pace his way. More legend in the making, day by day.
Well, it is a freaking hump day Wednesday. Much love, honor, respect to all of you legends. I very much appreciate all of you guys. All right, so listen, we got a very big morning this morning, absolutely. As you guys can see, government shutdown is officially ended. That's actually fantastic news. That happened yesterday. And then as well as this morning, we have Tom Homan that is going to be speaking on ICE, Minneapolis operations over there. As well as Iran nuclear updates and more. That's the way that we have this labeled. But let me go ahead and walk you guys through what we're actually going to be talking about. We have 11 big stories that we're going to be discussing this morning. And of course, I'm going to do my damnedest to consolidate everything into a single hour. But nonetheless, this is what we're looking at. So we've got U.S. fighter jet strikes down Iranian drone approaching USS Abraham. Now, that's actually a pretty big news story ordeal, but it's a fairly short update. Let me see if they actually have anything over. Nope, it just says over there in the Arabian Sea. So that's going to be our first story. It's actually fairly short. And then we have Trump signed bill to reopen the government. As you guys know, the reopening of the government did happen yesterday. The House put out to, basically completed a bill, approved of a bill, and sent it to President Trump's desk to get signed to finish the government shutdown, essentially. So we have that. And also, I guess he made some remarks. Trump gets heated with CNN question on Epstein files. So I actually do have that highlight for you guys. And then we have also a we're going to move over to Texas for a sec. Wild video of man attacking high schoolers at ICE protests. That's not fucking good.
Stupid.
Don't be going attacking kids for their dumb ideologies. Senator Mitch McConnell yesterday, unfortunately, was hospitalized over the weekend for flu-like symptoms. And yes, that did happen. I saw that being reported, I believe, yesterday. That's when I saw it. So nonetheless, they're reporting it as of yesterday as well. But it did happen over the weekend. And then regards to that military, the U.S. military shooting down the Iranian drone as tensions escalate, I guess they have more of the story on that whole ordeal. I'm sure they'll bring on some analyst or whatever the case is. And if that's the case, we'll probably just skip that guy and we'll move on into the next. Candidates talk California's future during debate for governor. Now, it's actually a pretty incredible debate that happened over there in California. I believe that happened yesterday. I watched it last night as well. And there's one Republican on the running for governor. The rest of them are Democrat. Not surprised. But I am surprised of some of the answers given from the whole thing. So we do have kind of like a highlight of that whole thing. It took a long time. It was like an hour and a half, 2 hours or something like that. So we're not going to, of course, do that. We have 11 minutes that I'll show you guys of something. But then we have a story that's going on right now, and I actually am not even too keen on the exact story of this lady. Her name's Nancy Guthrie is missing, and it's been a story that's been happening for the last couple of days, I believe. And I really didn't know exactly what's happening here, so we're going to go ahead and start covering it from here, which is sheriff, quote, is aware of a ransom note. Now, this person was taken against her will, and that's all I really know. So we're going to find that out together, obviously. Back over to Iran. Iran moves U.S. nuclear negotiations over ballistic missile concerns. So let me go ahead and read this real quick. It says, the U.S. and Iran are set to hold talks in Oman on Friday after Iran asked to move the location and limit discussions to its nuclear program. This comes as increased U.S. military activity in the Middle East raises concerns about a possible confrontation. This also coming after the U.S. shot down an Iranian drone approaching the USS Abraham Lincoln. And President Trump is confirming the talks are still ongoing. That's pretty impressive, actually. And then just as of an hour ago, a little bit of an update on Nancy Guthrie is Trump offers federal support in the search of Nancy Guthrie. So that is a big deal, giving them federal resources and stuff like that to figure out where she is. It sounds like a Homeland Security issue, actually. I'm not really sure what's happening here. Anytime there's a missing person, a child is ran away from home, all of that, those kind of things actually fall into Homeland Security, I believe. Anyways, we're going to go into, as well as Homan, we have Border Czar Homan announces 700 ICE and Border Patrol agents leaving Minneapolis. So that is happening as of just a single hour ago. That's actually some big news. So that is what we're looking at this morning. And I can't thank each and every single one of you guys for hanging out with us this morning. I'm very appreciative and honored that you guys would hang out with us over here. Real quick, we got Jimmy Mack as well as Pablo. We got KP as well as Steve Posey. Rabbit of Chaos, Miss Lotus, Easy Frank, my man, good morning to you. We got as well as Sick Bastard and Sterling Wheel, my man, good morning to you guys. We also have Motobomb coming in with the coffee raid. We have the coffee crew raid. I very much appreciate the raid over here, by the way. And we're about to do my call to actions real quick. Don't worry, because we got to get right into this shit. And, we got a lot to discuss here this morning. We got Prez in the building as well as Flames. Good morning to you guys. We got Restored as well as Trucker. I see you guys. Chatting with Stacks. Good morning. And Dylan Patterson, my man. Good morning. Hopefully you're enjoying your hump day morning so far. Great to see you. Go Rogo? Go Rogo? Appreciate you, man. Hopefully you're enjoying the morning. All right, let's go ahead and do our call to actions real quick, and we'll get right into these stories. Make sure you guys hit that like button. It helps out the show immensely, and it's absolutely free to do so. If you guys are on the vertical side, make sure you guys double tap that screen. Helps out the show immensely. You know what else helps out? This is what we do Monday through Friday, reporting the news, just like this in a consolidated hour. Hit that subscribe button, man. I very much appreciate that. Now, let's go ahead and let's get into the money part, though. Please consider becoming a member, starting only at $3.99 a month. We're making sure we're not breaking the bank out there with anybody, but check it out. This is what allows us to be on these airwaves as well as, have these lights on. So thank you guys for becoming members and staying members. All right, little side note here. Make sure you guys follow my Instagram at BallValveTV, where I post everything behind the scenes of not only my life, but as well as the show, Millennial Food Time, breaking news, as well as the campaign trail. Make sure you guys follow me over there. That's a great way to get a hold of me one-on-one. We also have a Discord server for all of you legends. Make sure you guys go down in the video description down below of any live video that we're doing, and it has all the invite links. So we have the 95% of you guys in the Discord. Make sure we get that shit up to 100. Last but not least, all super chats, super stickers, gifted memberships, and membership signups are, of course, all going to be presented live and shouted out onto the show. But if you guys would like to skip that YouTube 30% brutal cut that they take from your hard-earned cash, well, we have these platforms that you guys can donate to. And, of course, I'll read out anything that comes our way, just like a super chat, and you'll get credited for it. So, all right, let's go ahead and get right into this. We have a lot going on this morning. And we're going to start off, as you guys know, with regards of the U.S. fighter jet strikes down an Iranian drone approaching the USS Abraham Lincoln. So this was breaking yesterday.
Breaking news. I wanted to share this social media post from Fox News stating that a U.S. fighter jet shoots down.
What's up, Tiffany? Good morning.
An unmanned Iranian drone that was approaching USS Abraham Lincoln in Arabian Sea, U.S. Central Command spokesman says. So that is the breaking news that we are following at this hour. And I wanted to share just a little bit more information as we are learning new details. The U.S. Central Command says a U.S. Navy fighter jet shot down an Iranian drone that was approaching the aircraft carrier in the Arabian Sea. This
Shit.
is a post by the Associated Press sharing that information, saying that there was unclear intent. Now, in an emailed statement Tuesday, U.S. Central Command said the drone, quote, aggressively approached the aircraft carrier with unclear intent, and it continued to fly toward the ship despite de-escalatory measures taken by U.S. forces operating in international waters. The U.S. military says the shootdown also occurred within hours of another incident in which Iranian forces harassed a U.S. flagged and
I like how it says with, quote, unclear intent.
U.S. crewed merchant vessel that was sailing in that area.
What's up, Alfred Patterson? Good morning to you. Great to see you in the chat, by the way. Happy hump day.
The Shahed 139 drone was shot down by an F-35C fighter jet from the Lincoln, which, according to U.S. Central Command, was sailing about 500 miles from Iran's southern coast.
Real quick, want to give a special shout out. We got Hannah that just followed us over there on the Twitch side of things, even though I don't really use Twitch. But thank you for following me over there. Very much appreciate it.
The military statement noted that no American troops were harmed and no equipment was damaged. Then, hours later, Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps forces harassed the merchant vessel Stena Imperative. That's according to the U.S. military. And according to the military statement, two boats and an Iranian drone approached the ship, quote, at high speeds and threatened to board and seize the tanker. So we did want to share the very latest as we are continuing to follow this breaking.
And of course, we've got the updates on all of these kind of things as well. So we're not going to spend much time on it. We're going to move on. Let's go ahead and move on into Trump real quick. Actually, it's not going to be real quick. It's going to be a little lengthy. We're going to allow Trump to do his basically his monologue before he signs this to reopen the government from yesterday. I'm sure he's going to take a boatload of questions and people are going to speak and all that shit. I'm not interested in any of that. I'm interested in what Trump's going to say, and that's about it. So, anyways, let's go ahead and bring this up and we'll go ahead and discuss it briefly. Here we go.
Cindy, when you always do good, Cindy.
Thank you.
Bill Haggerty, hi Bill. Lindsey Graham was way up in the polls. Lindsey, what's going on with you? You're so
Okay, I really don't care about none of that, dude.
Al Duncan, Associate Director of the Legislative Affairs. Thank you, Hal. Great job. And
Skipping
it's
ahead.
a little embarrassing when they stick their hand up. I think they'd just be quiet. It's probably easier. But I'm glad we got you in because you really have worked hard. This bill is a great...
Real quick, got to say hi to a couple people. We got Joseph up there in Canada. Great to see you in the chat, bro. As well as Virginia Chaos. Good morning. Happy hump day to you fellas.
Victory for the American people instead of a bloated and wasteful omnibus monstrosity full of special interest handouts. We've succeeded in passing a fiscally responsible package that actually cuts wasteful federal spending while supporting critical programs for the safety, security, and prosperity of the American people.
Pause. Real quick, we got my man, Alfred Patterson, coming in with the $5 on the Cash App, man. I really appreciate that, by the way. He says, money me, send me money now. Absolutely. Let's go ahead and just get the money part over since
We just get the money part done.
Give me money, money me, money now. Me a money needing a lot now.
True, though.
Denied.
Very true. Unfortunately, usually I get denied. Thank you for that. I very much appreciate that.
And this group of people behind me and others, a lot of votes, they really have done a fantastic job because closing the country, you know, we had a 5 point, it looks like 5.6, and it could have been 7. We lost a 1.5 because of a 42-day shutdown. And that's the least of it. But we would have been at 7. Can you believe it? 7 GDP. Nobody ever heard of a 7 GDP. So I'm glad we got this done because this would be another 1.5 or something, or maybe worse. The bill officially ends all taxpayer subsidies for radical far-left woke programming on NPR and PBS, so just a waste of money. It slashes nearly $10 billion in wasteful foreign aid spending, giving money to countries that don't need it. They have plenty of money. and we ended that. That was so important, $10 billion. Think of it. It continues the closure of USAID and creates a brand new America First Opportunity Fund for responsibly providing foreign assistance to nations where it actually serves American interests. So we have nations that do help us, and it serves our interests, so we have something to help them out with. This bill also cuts funding to abusive and weaponized IRS programs. I was a victim of that too. You probably read that. Did you read that recently? Right? Sure. I was, I guess, the ultimate victim. That were used to harass American taxpayers. It builds on the Republican rescissions package passed last summer, which saved Americans billions and billions of dollars. It fully funds our military, includes a well-deserved pay raise for all American service members, and makes historic investments in the American shipbuilding industry, which is great. We're really starting to do something incredible with shipbuilding. And I don't know if you saw that the United States.
Okay, I really already know all this stuff. Kindly just get to the reopening of the government, please, Trump.
Illegal aliens from our country. It continues.
Okay, let me back that up.
Steel this year than Japan. Think of that. More steel than Japan. And Japan is a powerhouse at that. And we were pretty much dead when it came to steel. So what do you think of that? And then, to me, when I heard that, we did more than Japan. It continues to fund deportation flights that are removing dangerous illegal aliens from our country. It continues historically successful efforts to reduce crime in our nation's capital. We have a very safe city right now. We have a city that is like a different world from what it was a year and a half ago, when you couldn't walk down the street without being hurt very badly. I want to say that in a nice way. Washington, D.C. is a safe city. Memphis, by the way, is that crime.
Okay, cool. Please get to the government shutdown.
Murders in D.C. by 80 compared to 12 months ago. So we have close to 95% down crime.
Okay, we know this.
So it's the #1 documentary in 19. Anybody? How about Mr. Speaker?
Well, this is a big thing,
Here
Mr.
we
President.
go.
Thank you for your leadership and helping us steward this through. For a long time, we wanted to get back to regular order in the appropriations process. You're standing up here with the best appropriators in the business and have served in many years, and we forced the muscle memory back. We're getting back to that regular order process. 12 separate appropriations bills. We've gotten them to your desk, and this is a big thing. It seems like a small thing, but it's a big thing, and we're spending less money year over year with all the innovations and things that you said there. This is good for the country, and America is back. The hat is appropriate. It's the right slogan.
There's a new hat. We just came out. America is back. Look, CNN's thrilled. Look at her. She's never smiled. I never see her
So
smile.
that's not America, Make America Great Again hat. That's America is Back hat.
Someday I'll see her smile.
Mr. President,
Yes.
did I mention that there's significant health care reform in this bill? PBM reform, something that you have been working on, and we appreciate and applaud your efforts. Bringing drug prices down for citizens here in America. Not only that, but we extended telehealth, and also we are addressing maternal mortality in this bill. Rural health care has been a big part of your focus, and we appreciate that.
Thank you very much. Thank you, buddy. You know, a very big thing, I think, for all of us is most favored nations on drug pricing. So for 30 years they've been talking about it, more than that, and it's basically we now will take prescription drugs will come down to the lowest price anywhere in the world. So if a country is selling a pill for $10 and we're selling it for $130, which is not much of an exaggeration at all, we were paying the highest drug prices anywhere in the world. Now we'll be paying tied with the lowest price. It's most favored nations. We will have the lowest price anywhere in the
Now, the most favored nations thing, objectively speaking, was a humongous W for Americans. Whether you like Trump or not, that was objectively a phenomenal thing that he did. And it's going to save a lot of people, actually, here in America.
world. So a pill that was for $130 will be down to $20. So you can make a case that that's 800, 900%, or like the press likes to hear, it's about 80%. But we're going to get reductions like nobody's ever seen. And frankly, the Republican Party should be able to win the midterms on that alone. That's the biggest thing there is. Most favored nations, we're going to be bringing the price of drugs down. In my first term, I got it down 1/8 of 1%. And I was so proud because it's the first time in 28 years that drug prices came down. And now we're talking about bringing it down by 80, 90, 75, 68. I mean, I have numbers in the back that nobody can believe. Most favored nations. And remember, the Republicans did that. The Democrats did not do that. Republicans did it. And that's going to have a huge impact also on healthcare because medicine, I mean, it's a big chunk of healthcare. And if you're bringing something down from $100 down to $20, $18, because we were subsidizing the entire world. And frankly, I had to get the countries to go along with it, and I had to threaten tariffs against them if they didn't approve. And the healthcare companies, who weren't easy either, but they said it doesn't matter because you'll never get the countries because they didn't really want to do it. and I got the countries. I got every one of them. And really, people can't even believe it. But for the people standing behind me, if you use that alone, you should win. We should win the elections coming up. Anybody else? How about on this side?
Well, you mentioned the IRS, Mr. President. Their behavior has been atrocious. If you think about leaking your tax returns, the tax returns
Oh, here goes the IRS bit.
of others, and never any accountability. I must have questioned Janet Yellen 4 times, 5 times under oath about this, and never an answer. We stripped $10 billion from the IRS in this bill that you just signed. And today, I launched an investigation with my staff on all of these contractors that are associated with the ones that allowed your information to be put out. These contractors that hire
Oh, shit.
activists to come in and do their work. These corporations here in America that bring activists in to do their work, that's going to come to an end.
They did leak my tax returns. It was terrible. The good news is I paid a hell of a lot of tax.
Shit.
I paid tens of millions of dollars. I said, where are my accountants? I want to talk to them. But they did. They leaked my tax returns. They didn't do it in a nice way. They tried to get something out of it. No, they're bad people.
Accountability's coming, though. You think about the phone companies that leaked our telephone records, several of us here.
Right.
Verizon leaked my telephone records. You think about what's happening across the country. This is going to come to an end.
We should have voter ID, by the way. We should have a lot of the things that I think everybody wants to see. Who would not want voter ID? Only somebody that wants to cheat. Think of it. We don't have voter ID. And the Democrats don't want it.
Yeah, that's kind of actually insane. Everyone knows that, I mean, you need to do anything in this fucking country, you need to fucking pull out your fucking ID. You want to pull out money? Yeah, you got to fucking pull out your ID. You want to drive? Yeah, you got to have your ID. What's the big fucking deal with having voter ID? I just don't understand that. I don't understand the argument from the left on that whole bit. I just don't get it.
And the reason they don't want it because they want to cheat. Because there's no reason in the world, and I love that debate, Lindsay. I love saying, well, why don't you want voter ID? And you watch them say, I don't know, I just
Make them vote.
Then it's a terrible thing. So anyway, anybody else?
Well, Mr. President, you said you wanted to make America safer and more prosperous,
Right.
and we've done it. More prosperity means more money in people's pockets, and they notice that every time they go to fill up with gas, and they're going to know it when they get their tax returns that this year are going to be at least $1,000, if not more, greater than it's been in the past, and that's a result of the work that you've done with this whole group. And in terms of America being safer, a number of us were at the border 2 weeks ago. The border is secure. No one is coming across, not the 10,000 we saw every day with Joe Biden. And the American people still, in overwhelming numbers, Republicans, Democrats, and independents all say illegal immigrant criminals need to be deported. And Mr. President, you're doing that.
And no tax on tips?
No tax on Social Security.
No tax on
All right, so that's enough of this whole thing. We still have many stories that we need to get through. And I guess during this whole time, there was, after this whole conference or whatever, there was a Q&A section with the reporters. So I do have a interesting spicy clip right here. Trump gets heated with CNN question on Epstein files. So let's go ahead and bring that up, and we will discuss it briefly. It's actually a fairly short segment. It's 2 minutes and 59 seconds.
Yeah, what do you want?
On the Epstein files, you talked about Democrats who were in there. Elon Musk was also in there, and so was your Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick and correspondence that he had with him. Did you read those new files that were published by the Department of Justice?
I have a lot of things I'm doing, a lot of things I'm doing. I don't know. You mentioned 2 names. I'm sure they're fine. I'm sure they're fine. Otherwise, it would have been major headlines.
A lot of women who are survivors of Epstein's are unhappy with those redactions that came out. Some of them, entire witness interviews are totally blacked out. Do you think that they should be more transparent?
The fact that they thought they released too much. I heard that, and you tell me something else. No, I think it's really time for the country to get onto something else. Really, now that nothing came out about me, other than it was a conspiracy against me, literally, by Epstein and other people. But I think it's time now for the country to maybe get onto something else.
What would you say to people
like
who feel like they haven't gotten
healthcare?
justice,
That's actually not really a great answer.
Mr. President?
Something
tell
that
you
people
that.
care about. Yeah, what did you say? Go ahead.
What would you say to
are
the
so
survivors
bad.
who feel like they haven't gotten
You are the
justice?
worst reporter. No wonder CNN has no ratings because of people like you. She's a young woman. I don't think I've ever seen you smile. I've known you for 10 years. I
Damn.
don't think I've ever seen a smile on
I'm
your
asking
face.
you about survivors.
You know why? You know why you're not smiling? Because you're not telling the truth. And you're a very dishonest organization, and they should be ashamed of you. Okay, go ahead. Yes, speaking of Epstein, I will say this. A reporter named Wolf and Epstein conspired This just came out yesterday in the millions of pages of documents, how crazy this is, conspired against me in order to fight like hell to make sure I lose the election. That's the only thing that was mentioned about me. Now, about Democrats, some really bad stuff, but about me, that Wolf, whoever Wolf is, he wrote a book, a couple of books, and Epstein conspired against me. Did you know that, Mr. Senator? Did you know that? They conspired against me, so I lose the election, or worse. So that takes care of Epstein as far as Trump is concerned, but you got a lot of Democrats out there that are very much involved with Epstein. But I'll be honest with you, you got to...
There's no need to even do whataboutisms in that case, Trump. I hate to break it to anybody that doesn't know, which I'm sure everybody here knows. Whether you like the left or the right or whatever the case is, I promise you there is a healthy mixture of both sides in this fucked up land. I mean, this whole ordeal is fucked up.
Get back to running the country, too. Millions and millions every week. You know, when Epstein was alive, nobody cared about him. When he's dead, they care about him. But it's really a Democrat problem. It's not a Republican, it's a Democrat problem. The only problem Republicans
What's up, Hardwire? Good morning and happy hump day so far.
have is that we have to get back to, number one, running our country, and then number two, very importantly, letting the public know what a great job we're doing. We have the greatest economy in the history of the world. We have $18 trillion being spent. The record was $3 trillion many years ago, not by us, by another country. I won't say the country. Yeah, please.
I think this is where it's going to be ending. Yep, I knew it. All right, we're going to move on. We do have an update from Texas, it looks like. A wild video of a man attacking high schoolers at an ICE protest, or at ICE protests. It's literally what it says. So it says, a walkout at a Texas high school protests over ICE immigration policies ended with an adult man attacking some of the students. Officials say that they were aware of the incident and it's investigating. Odd. Okay, that sounds like a fucking terrible L. Let's go ahead and bring that up.
Welcome back, everyone.
Oh, you know what we haven't done? Shit. Real quick, we got to embrace our fuck-ups. Yeah.
Don't beat yourself up over past mistakes. You are going to fuck up again in the future, quite possibly in a most spectacular fashion. Why worry about yesterday's fuck-ups when you have tomorrow's fuck-ups to look forward to? You are a fuck-up, and fucking up is part of your growth process. Embrace the process.
Always embrace the process. Here we go.
Now from Fox, I'm your host, Mike Page. Always great to be with you as we continue to roll on. Next up, we want to talk about, we've really been seeing these anti-ICE protests happening all over the country, even happening at schools, seeing students walk out in protest. But next up, we want to take you out to Texas, where a brawl broke out during one of these walkouts. Let's go out right now to Fox 7 Austin's Jenna King with the latest after this really chaotic scene played out.
Yeah, hey there. This video, of course, going viral on social media, sparking a lot of mixed reaction and, of course, raising a lot of questions.
Okay, real quick, now that we've got the video, let me put it at normal playback speed here.
On Monday, several hundred students walked out of 5 Hayes CISD campuses, including Hayes High School, Live Oak Academy High School, Lehman High School, Barton Middle School, and Johnson High School. Walkouts also happening at Austin ISD, Pflugerville ISD, and Manor ISD.
Students have the right to protest and display their First Amendment rights in educational environments. That's exactly what these students were doing.
At Mo and Jean Johnson High School, things took a turn. The Buda Police Department says Monday afternoon the department became aware from a school resource officer about the walkout protest on RM 967. Just before 3 p.m., Buda officers were called to the intersection of RM 967 and FM 1626 for reports of a fight. Police say a verbal argument between a young woman on the sidewalk and an adult man in a vehicle escalated into a physical altercation involving multiple...
So it really looks like he's getting attacked, honestly. I mean, he probably was fighting back. And I'm sure he probably went over there and agitated and all that too. I'm not saying that dude's innocent or nothing, but it looks like homie's getting attacked.
People. Several videos were posted to the Buda PD Facebook page. One video shows the man getting out of his truck and approaching the teens before the fight breaks out.
For us to have to fear for our safety is not usual, and for us not to know
What are
who's
you
on our
talking about,
side,
dude?
for us not to know who's going to come out of nowhere, you know.
Oh my God, I got something for this guy.
Why are you gay?
Jesus.
Stupid.
We think that in a city like Austin that we're safe, that people will side with us, but to see something like that happen, it shows that you will find counter-protesters anywhere.
The group falls to the grass. The man then gets up and walks back to his truck. The video shows students throwing water bottles at him. Students Engaged in Advancing Texas, or SEAT, is a student-led movement that works to get young people involved in the policy-making process at all levels of government. Group leaders say the altercation raises concerns about safety at future scheduled walkouts.
I think that there needs to be action taken on that, and I would like to see a full investigation done on how it started and what can be done to prevent this happening in the future, because like we discussed, these protests and walkouts are not going to stop anytime soon, and we need to create policies and create environments where they can continue to happen safely.
Hayes CISD saying it's aware of the video, but it's being investigated by Buda PD since it happened off campus. The district also confirms the man in the video was not a teacher or employee. In a separate walkout, 2 students were arrested, which caught the attention of Governor Abbott. Governor Abbott responded online, saying in part, quote, "It's about time students like this were arrested. Harming someone is a crime, even for students. We are also looking into stripping the funding of schools that abandon their duty to teach our kids the curriculum required by law," end quote. Tuesday afternoon, Hayes County Judge Ruben Becerra addressed the fight, saying the adult in the video had a clear responsibility to exercise restraint. Becerra went on to say that the Hayes County DA's office is investigating.
Damn.
Yeah, like we mentioned, Buda PD says that the incident is, of course, under investigation and no arrests have been made. I'll send it back to you guys.
Jenna King, thanks so much for joining us here on Live Now from Fox. We always appreciate the update.
And of course, if we get anything more coming out of that, then of course I'll let you guys know. We're moving on into the next segment here. We've got Senator Mitch McConnell was hospitalized over the weekend for flu-like symptoms. And I did see this get reported yesterday. So we're going to go ahead and bring it up briefly. It's only a 2-minute little segment. And then we're going to move into the U.S. military shoots down an Iranian drone as tensions escalate, which did happen yesterday, by the way, for context, but we have an update on it. So
before we take a 2-minute break, I do want to bring you some breaking news that we are learning from D.C. today. Take a look here at this update from Fox News on X saying, breaking, Senator Mitch McConnell, who is 83, was hospitalized with flu-like symptoms over the weekend. A spokesperson said his prognosis is positive and he is grateful for the excellent care that he is receiving, as spokesperson did add. So we wanted to bring that to you as we continue to learn the latest here of Senator Mitch McConnell being hospitalized. His office also said, in an abundance of caution, after experiencing flu-like symptoms over the weekend, Senator McConnell checked himself into a local hospital for evaluation last night. A spokesperson for McConnell said in a statement that went on to say again that his
what's up, Dirty? Good morning.
Prognosis is positive and he is grateful for the excellent care that he is receiving. The statement continued. He is in regular contact with his staff and looks forward to returning to Senate business. And Senator Mitch McConnell is 83 years old. And
83,
as of late,
bro. There's a lot of people. Dude, if you're in your 80s, bro, you need to fucking step aside. You're not relating to the people at that point. You know, you're just not. You're not going to be relating to many people your age because there's not many people your age around. Sorry to break it to you. That's not, the average lifespan is like what? Like 68, 70, something like that? I can't even remember. Anyways, yeah. I think that all these motherfuckers need to get the fuck out. We're going to move on, though. You guys got that update. We're going to move on into the Iranian drone that was shot down, and we have updates on this whole thing. So let's see what we've got.
I'm Andy Mack now here in the anchor chair as we continue to follow some of the top headlines from around the world as a U.S. Navy fighter jet shot down an Iranian drone that was approaching the aircraft carrier, the USS Abraham in the Arabian Sea. This according to the U.S. Central Command earlier today, threatening to ramp up tensions between the Trump administration as they warn of possible military action to get Iran to the negotiating table. For more on this, let's go out right now to Jillian Turner with this report.
Negotiating with them right now.
Earlier today, 2 alarming military provocations by Iranian forces. U.S. CENTCOM reports destroying an Iranian drone as it approached a U.S. Navy aircraft carrier with unclear intent. An F-35C fighter jet from Abraham Lincoln shot down the Iranian drone in self-defense and to protect the aircraft carrier and personnel on board. Shortly after that incident, Iranian forces harassed a U.S. commercial ship in the Strait of Hormuz, even threatening to board the vessel. Tehran also making an 11th-hour gambit tonight to move Friday's nuclear talks from Turkey to Oman and drop Arab nation participants and negotiate directly with the Trump administration alone.
They had a chance to do something a while ago, and it didn't work out, and we did Midnight Hammer. I don't think they want that happening again, but they would like to negotiate.
Shit.
These latest news differ starkly from the regime's tone overnight when President Pezeshkian posted, "I've instructed my Minister of Foreign Affairs to pursue fair and equitable negotiations guided by the principles of dignity, prudence, and expediency." Special Envoy Steve Witkoff and Trump's son-in-law Jared Kushner met with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu today to prep for Friday. His office says the Prime Minister made clear his position that Iran has proven time and again that its assurances cannot be trusted. At least one Republican senator agrees with that assessment.
That regime has clearly demonstrated that they don't respond to threats, only to significant pressures.
The regime's demands to change up the Friday talks, as well as today's military maneuvers, increase the risk of some ultimate kind of military confrontation. Officials here are busy worrying about one small misstep resulting in a full-blown regional war. At the State Department, Jillian Turner, Fox News.
All right, potentially one small misstep averted today as the drone aggressively approached that aircraft carrier with unclear intent. We're going to be joined right now by retired...
Okay, well, it sounds like there really isn't going to be any information that's going to come out here other than, I mean, this guy's retired, so I'm sure that a lot of this is going to be speculation, which is not what we need. I know that the drone happened. I know that they shot it down, and they said it came in with unclear intent. So what else is there to talk about? There isn't. He was going to be speculating here. We're going to move on. Yesterday there was a debate that was held over in California, and it was the debate for governor. And all the candidates, except for one, showed up. I believe there's 7 candidates. Nonetheless, there's one Republican in the mix, and I was actually shocked by that, and not shocked that everybody else was going to be a Democrat, of course. But that whole thing, I watched the whole thing. It took like 2.5 hours or something. It was long. Anyways, we have a consolidated 11 minutes here for everybody. So let's go ahead and check this out briefly.
All right, we'll come back in here to live now from Fox.
Let's see if they show it or if they're going to have an analyst come on and talk about it.
I'm Andy Mack. Let's turn our attention out west. A major race for governor of California. This, as Gavin Newsom, we know, is term limited, and there will be big winners and losers in the Bay Area this week. And I'm not just talking about the Super Bowl. Tonight at the Bayview Opera House in San Francisco, seven candidates for the governor of California. They will take the stage, and this is the lineup that we expect to see tonight. They include former mayors, former cabinet members, entrepreneurs alike, taking that stage ahead of a June primary, and then a pair of candidates will be on the ballot to replace Gavin Newsom in November. And this is a live look potentially inside of that hall right now, as we'll air a little bit later on in the Bay Area.
Okay, so this was right before
in Los Angeles,
this
those
clip.
2 major markets on our Fox stations with some great...
Okay, so they were going to talk about the debate hadn't actually happened yet in the context of this clip that we're watching right here. So very interesting. They're going to talk about like probably the candidates here. Nonetheless, I think it's great that you guys know that this happened. I mean, I watched the whole entire thing. I actually advise everybody to do, to watch it, whether you're in California or not. I care about this country, so I pay attention everywhere. But nonetheless, we have an update on Nancy Guthrie, who is missing, by the way. She was taken against her will, supposedly. I really don't know the entire story yet. I will end up knowing the entire story because we are starting to report it now. And sheriff is, quote, aware of a ransom note. So let's go ahead and bring this up, and we'll discuss this briefly as well.
We want to continue on really our top story of the day that we are following in Tucson, Arizona. The search continues for Savannah Guthrie.
All right, so this is theoretically in Tucson, Arizona.
Mom, Nancy, as the search continues. We were getting updates earlier today from Pima County, and it looks like
What's up, Bob from Biker News Canada? I very much appreciate you. Hopefully you're enjoying your Hump Day Wednesday so far.
Now at the scene, there is a flurry of activity.
Jeremy Ryan, good morning.
Fox 10 Phoenix's Ashley Rodriguez is joining us with the very latest.
Yeah, I want to bring your attention to the Sheriff's Department chopper that just came out. This was pretty quiet for most of the day. We really didn't have a police presence out here, but they had just showed up within the last 10, 20 minutes. You can see that gentleman hanging out of the side. They have resumed search and rescue operations. We did hear from the sheriff today and the FBI at a press conference. They told us that they are aggressively searching cell phones, security camera footage. They're also combing through dozens of leads. We asked them directly, was Nancy kidnapped? Was this targeted? Was this random? The sheriff couldn't answer any of those questions. And for this community, who right now is living with a media circus on its front lawn and a chopper flying overhead, they are starting to fear the worst. Her disappearance, a terrifying mystery. Search and rescue operations have been called off from North Camino Escalante in Tucson, where 84-year-old Nancy Guthrie went missing sometime between Saturday night and Sunday morning.
We have a lot of work in front of us. We have a job.
Now, I do have an update on this, even though they just said that they called off the search, essentially, right, on a local level. Well, we do have an update from Trump. Trump offers federal support in search for Nancy Guthrie, and that happened just 2 hours ago. I just happen to know that in context. So here we go.
And we have someone's life who is in jeopardy.
Without her medication, we're told Nancy is at serious risk. And as the search continues into day 3, the Pima County Sheriff's Department and FBI are bringing in homicide detectives to help with the investigation. TMZ and KOLD TV in Tucson reporting they both received ransom notes and are turning them over to the Sheriff's Department, who is looking into every lead.
What I'd tell you is, like any crime scene, we processed this crime scene. We gathered all the evidence we could, to include looking for what? Fingerprints, DNA, camera images, everything you can imagine. And we gathered that out. Those things have been submitted forward to labs, to technological companies to help us, and we're like you. We're waiting for those returns to come back.
Authorities discovered concerning circumstances at her home and signs of forced entry.
Wow, real quick, we got Sterling Wheel coming in with the gifted membership, my man. Thank you very much. Not only helping me, but you're helping someone in the Breakfast Club, man. I very much appreciate that, kind sir. Thank you for that. Hopefully you're enjoying your Wednesday morning so far.
But nothing is leading to a suspect. There are no tire tracks out front, no footprints, and no explanation for her disappearance.
Nancy and her family are in our prayers. We pray that Nancy has returns, comes home, and is safe. And
her daughter Savannah posted on her Instagram today asking for prayer, writing, "We believe in prayer. We believe in voices raised."
What up, Sicko Smoke? Good morning. Great to see you in the chat as well, bro.
In unison, in love, in hope. Above all, we believe in him. She asked followers to raise your prayers with us for her mother, whom she described as a woman of deep conviction and a good, faithful servant. She concluded the post with a final plea, "Bring her home." And a quote from Isaiah 26:3, "He will keep in perfect peace those whose hearts are steadfast, trusting in the Lord."
Damn.
Prayer is all
this is a sad situation for damn sure.
Community has right now, and they are praying that the many detectives working this case will make a breakthrough, and soon. As for the sheriff, he told us that the next update he's going to give is on Thursday because he has so much work to do. He says, "You're not going to hear from me unless something breaks," and we're hoping something breaks quickly. We'll send it back to you.
All right, Ashley Rodriguez, thanks so much for joining us. Yeah, we are all hoping that there will be a crack in the case very soon. We appreciate all the updates right here on Live.
And of course, what we are going to do is we're going to move on because I do have a further update on her. So give me a minute. First, we're going to be talking about Iran. Iran moves U.S. nuclear negotiations over ballistic missile concerns. And it says the U.S. and Iran are set to hold talks in Oman on Friday after Iran asked to move the location and limit discussions to its nuclear program. This comes as increased U.S. military activity in the Middle East raises concerns about a possible confrontation. This also comes after the U.S. shot down an Iranian drone approaching the USS Abraham Lincoln, which happened yesterday. President Trump confirming the talks are still a go. So, mind you, this just came out today as well. So this is latest update on Iran from today.
Right now, I do want to get you back into some of the big headlines that we are covering this morning and the latest on the growing tensions between the U.S. and Iran. There's been an apparent change of venue for the talks between the two, now set for Friday in Oman. Reuters reporting this morning that Iran requested a change of venue to limit negotiations to its nuclear program and avoid discussion over its ballistic missiles. The meeting was originally set to happen in Istanbul, and the talks come as a U.S. Navy fighter jet shot down an Iranian drone that was approaching the USS Abraham Lincoln in the Arabian Sea yesterday. U.S. Central Command saying the drone, quote, aggressively approached the aircraft carrier with unclear intent and kept flying toward it, quote, despite de-escalatory measures taken by U.S. forces operating in international waters.
CENTCOM acted both appropriately and necessarily to protect our
Caroline Levitt on Tuesday, by the way.
U.S. personnel and equipment in the region. As for the president, he remains committed to always pursuing diplomacy first.
Biggest and the best. And we have
this was also from yesterday.
Talks going on with Iran. We'll see how it all works out.
Now, the shootdown of the Iranian drone came within hours of Iranian forces apparently harassing a U.S. flagged and U.S. crewed merchant vessel that was sailing in the Strait of Hormuz. As for the drone, a semi-official news agency in Iran claims before the footage cut out, the drone was able to successfully transfer images that it took back to Iran.
Oh, wow.
After the shootdown, the U.S. military says Iran.
So I guess it's not this drone footage, I'm sure. I'm sure this is the U.S. government, their film. But I wonder the actual footage it captured.
Revolutionary Guard harassed that merchant ship with 2 boats and an Iranian drone approaching the ship, quote, at high speeds and threatened to board and seize that tanker. A U.S. destroyer responded and escorted the merchant vessel, quote, with defense air support from the U.S. Air Force. As you can tell, a lot to discuss, as always, as that growing tension definitely still exists there. Mark Chandler is the Director of Government Relations at Coastal Carolina.
Steve Posey, because he is over on the vertical side. That's why.
University and a former senior defense intelligence official. Thank you so much for taking the time to be here with us and
What's
helping
up,
to break
Crystal?
it down.
Good morning.
You're welcome, Josh, and good morning to you.
Good morning. Well, first off, I want to start with this Iranian drone situation. Explain to me how significant it is, especially as we then saw that merchant vessel that was being harassed by another Iranian drone.
Well, Josh, I'm going to say this is a significant step in the tensions that we have ongoing right now. Things are at razor edge with Iran, between Iran and the United States. And Iran's really trying
to... real quick, we got my man Jack Telcott coming in the building. By the way, I'm a big fan. I watch you every so often. I very much appreciate you coming by and hanging out with us. By the way, if you guys are in here, by the way, I haven't told you guys to do this in a minute. We've got 158 people in here. Make sure you guys hit that like button as well as double tap the screen if you're on the vertical side. Very much appreciate your laborious work on all of that. So appreciate that.
Ramp this up. You know, you and I talked over the weekend, and the Islamic Revolutionary Guard, the IRGC, Iran's most elite military arm, said they were going to conduct this naval exercise in the Straits of Hormuz and the Persian Gulf. Well, you're actually seeing play out an extension of that exercise. You know, Iran's trying to escalate, trying to probe, trying to poke. But the problem with that is, as tensions this high on this razor's edge, any small miscalculation could result in some unexpected escalation. You know, wars have started over minor tension like this, escalating out of hand very quickly.
Okay, so yes, true. All of that is true, what he's getting at there. But I wanted to get more of an information, you know, on what's happening here. As you know, I don't care about what our power is and all of that and speculation. I don't care about all that stuff. That's why we're going to skip him. We're going to go and see if we have an update from Reuters. Let's go ahead and see what they're saying. Let's go ahead and get that right here.
Focus on the nuclear issue and nuclear program. So I think that's kind of Iran trying to message a little bit of strength and showing that they got home field advantage. The positive thing is the U.S. is willing to flex. So I think that shows we're still working toward, you know, that.
So yeah, it's 2 live streams happening at the same time, Dirty. One is happening on the vertical side, which is like for your phone, and which is great. It's actually totally a different landscape or setup, whatever, on the phone side than it is over on the horizontal. So both sides do see the same thing, but it's just put together differently, I guess, in the layout.
And of course, we'll see how that plays out. As of right now, that meeting's set for Oman on Friday. So, hey, just a couple days away. We will again see how it plays out.
Ghost?
Bring
Good
folks
morning.
out there any live images and updates that we get. Now, the Iranian president said that he wants to have, quote unquote, fair negotiations, quote unquote, fair talks there with the U.S. Does that signal anything to us? Is that a change of pace from?
I will hear this answer and then we're going to move on.
What we've heard in the past, because you and I also discussed just last weekend the threats that were being made again by the Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei there in Iran.
No, I think this is just more messaging, Josh. When you look at it, Iran's not necessarily playing up to the United States. They're playing to a global audience and a regional audience. And so by characterizing or framing their statement as wanting fair negotiations, they're implying that the U.S. would not have fair negotiations. And that's just not the case. Iran has stalled out multiple times. And as a matter of fact, I see these negotiations as just a further Iranian stall tactic to delay any kind of U.S. attack, if you will, so Iran can build up its defenses a little bit more. So
Okay, I really don't need to hear any further from him. I prefer to only get like what is factually happening. I don't really like to speculate. I don't like to do any of that. So anyways, we're going to move on. We do have a very important update that happened 2 hours ago. Trump offers federal support in search for Nancy Guthrie, which is fantastic. It's phenomenal that is Trump is extending federal resources for this, as they just called off the search for her yesterday on the state level, local level.
Welcome back here on Live Now from Fox. My name is Josh Breslow, and I want to get you right back into some of the big headlines that we are covering on this Wednesday. And this is a big one here as the search continues for Nancy Guthrie, the mother of Today Show co-host Savannah Guthrie, now in its 4th day. Sheriff Chris Nanos in Pima County, Arizona, now saying there is, quote, no credible evidence that indicates this was targeted. The sheriff Sunday. Now, the sheriff's office responded saying, quote, we have not released specific time frames related to that device, end quote. Asked about any surveillance cameras in or around the home, the sheriff's office says the house, quote, was equipped with several cameras and investigators are working to figure out if there's any footage that exists. As for DNA evidence found at the scene, Sheriff Nanos says, quote, nothing has been identified that would point to a person of interest and, quote, no suspects have been identified. The sheriff clarifying the timeline of events during a news conference, saying at this point they have no idea where she could be.
9:45, 9:30, 9:45, we were told she was left at her home by the family. At 11 o'clock in the morning, the family got notice from somebody at church that she was not at church. They went to the home, found her to be missing. That's the timeline. From Saturday night, 9:45, we'll say, to Sunday morning, 11 o'clock.
Believe she's still in this area, or is there somewhere else?
Hey, I very much appreciate you coming by and hanging out with us, by the way. Hopefully you have a wonderful rest of your Wednesday morning, your hump day.
We don't know where she is. So we're like any investigation. You start from the point of where we last saw her, and we worked out, and we're working as far out as we can go. There are concerns at the house that concerned us from the early on part of this investigation, and that's all I would tell you. Yes, ma'am.
FBI Director Kash Patel speaking with Fox News last night, explaining that he had been made aware of those apparent ransom notes and that the FBI is involved in providing help to the Pima County Sheriff's Office.
There was a report today that TMZ received a ransom note. Are you aware of that? Or
the local authorities notified the FBI of it, and we are working with them in any manner they choose. But remember, they're the lead right now, and we have to respect that. But we are there to help them in any way we can.
Now, that was yesterday, mind you. But now, today, it's now the jurisdiction of the feds are going to go ahead and give them any resources they need.
And some notes or otherwise.
Yeah, the sheriff got to, we believe she was taken from the home, and you're assisting them in their efforts.
Absolutely. We're on the ground there with them.
And Fox News posting this just a short time ago, saying presidential promise. Trump says he will personally call Savannah Guthrie and offer additional federal assistance following her mother's apparent abduction in Arizona. Trump said, quote, I think it's terrible. I'm going to call Savannah Guthrie later on. I think it's a terrible thing. Very unusual situation, but we're going to find out, end quote. Now, there is a lot to this investigation. Again, now in day 4. I want to bring in Jillian Snyder, retired NYPD officer. She's a resident senior fellow at the R Street Institute and teaches at John Jay College of Criminal Justice. Thank you so much, Jillian, as always, for taking the time to join us here on Live Now from Fox.
Good morning, Josh.
And I wanted to kind of start off broadly here, based on your law enforcement experience, your criminal justice experience. Explain to me what stands out to you about all of this, because
Nah, I don't care about that. I don't care about that. Let's see if we get any other information in this, like a different tweet or notification, Reuters, anything coming out. Let's see if we get anything from this. And if there isn't, I don't really need a retired NYP officer telling us a speculative story. I don't need that. We're going to move on. This is going to be our final story for the morning. This was breaking this morning at just 2 hours ago. Homan announces 700 ICE and Border Patrol agents leaving Minneapolis. So let's go ahead and bring that up. And this did, I watched it very, very briefly this morning, but I didn't have enough time It's 28 minutes long. Obviously, we're not going to play 28 minutes. You see that I don't have that kind of patience, and I consolidate everything usually into a single hour. So it's not like I live stream for 3, 4, 5 hours or whatever the case is, right? I do this from 10 a.m. Central Standard Time to 11, and that's the show. You know what I mean? So anyways, let's go ahead and get into this.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm Tom Homan. I'm the board of President Trump. I'm here with Sam Olson, Field Office Director for the St. Paul office, and Ron Patello, Senior Advisor to the Commissioner of Customs and Border Protection, Border Patrol. Us three guys got just shy of 100 years in law enforcement, immigration enforcement. I've worked with Ron 30 years ago in Dallas, Texas. He's been with the Border Patrol's entire career. During my press conference last week, I reported I had productive discussions with various state and local officials, including Governor, Attorney General Mayor Frey, and law enforcement officials about increasing coordination in a lawful way between the county jails and ICE to avoid public safety threats being released back in the community. While we had our differences, one thing was clear. We all committed to public safety for all who live in the Twin Cities. We have made significant progress under the direction of President Trump, working with state and local officials here in Minnesota, and I expect that to increase in the coming weeks. We continue to have discussions. I'll have discussions this afternoon. We currently have an unprecedented number of counties communicating with us now and allowing ICE to take custody of illegal aliens before they hit the streets. Unprecedented cooperation. And I'll say it again. This is efficient. It requires only 1 or 2 officers to assume custody of a criminal alien target rather than 8 or 10 officers going into the community.
Shit, Joseph. That's funny, though.
Community and arresting that public safety threat. This frees up more officers to arrest or remove criminal aliens. More officers taking custody of criminal aliens directly from the jails means less officers on the street doing criminal operations. This is smart law enforcement, not less law enforcement. It's safer for the community, safer for the officers, and safer for the alien. This coordination also makes it far more safe for the Twin Cities. Arresting a public safety threat and the safety and security of a jail is the safest thing we could do.
I actually do agree with it. The aspect of grabbing these illegal aliens whenever they're being released from jail or any of these things, that they're able to scoop them up right there. It's actually, I do believe, the safest way to be able to go ahead and grab them, as well as before they get right back into the community. And that's where it's just a drag going to people's houses. I mean, you see the treatment that these agents are getting. So it would be safer probably for both parties to be able to grab them when they're coming out of jail like that.
Further, less public safety risks are being released back into
and that's
the community,
what he's getting
reduces recidivism. So local law enforcement can direct their limited resources to other public safety matters in their community. This is another priority of President Trump. The state prisons already cooperate with ICE on this coordinated transfer of custody, and we thank them for that partnership, and we plan to do more.
What's up, Seymour? Great to see you in the chat, bro. Good morning.
More with them. I also want to reiterate and emphasize, we are not requiring jails to hold people past their normal release time for immigration purposes. We're not asking anyone to be an immigration officer.
Yeah, no kidding, Joseph. That's hilarious.
We're not asking any state or local official to do immigration enforcement activity. They are not. By merely notifying us before they release them, they don't hold them 1 minute past they normally would. Given this increase in unprecedented collaboration, and as a result of the need for less law enforcement.
Well, you have to get these different jails to cooperate and communicate with you and your team to be able to get, those agents to be able to intercept them as they're coming out.
Officers to do this work.
It's a lot of
in a safer
communications.
environment. I have announced effective immediately. We will draw down 700 people effective today. 700 law enforcement personnel. We have also fully integrated CBP personnel into the ICRO team structure under one unified chain of command. Not 2 chains of command. There'd be 1 chain of command here. Any large enforcement operation I've ever been involved with, there's 1 chain of command, and that's where we're moving forward. During my press conference last week, I announced that moving forward, ICE will be conducting targeted immigration enforcement operations, like ICE has traditionally done for decades, based on reasonable suspicion to question and detain. ICE will conduct these operations and transnational criminal organization investigations with a focus on national security and public safety. I want to be clear. Just because you prioritize public safety threats don't mean we forget about everybody else. We will continue to enforce the immigration laws in this country. To help execute this, we have developed and implemented a multi-agency surge task force with an operational framework that clarifies lines of effort, integrated enforcement, investigative and special response efforts. A unified joint operations center has been established to manage all operations and ensure efforts align with priorities of the mission. This reorganization also enables ICE to leverage joint intelligence capabilities to effectively target threats, as well as to reduce the overall personnel footprint.
So am I hearing it correct that Frey is cooperating with these guys? So now that they are allowing them to go grab them from jail once they're being released, is that what I'm hearing?
And enhance public safety and confidence in the agency's capabilities and presence here. I've also ensured that officials from legal internal affairs offices remain on the ground as long as this operation continues. During our efforts to identify and implement improvements of how operations are planned, conducted, and managed, we identified a gap in regard to the use of body-worn cameras. This is actually raised by
and we also reported that, by the way, yesterday, that all ICE agents, Border Patrol, all of that, any federal law enforcement essentially up there in Minnesota will receive and be equipped with a body camera now.
Workforce when I started walking
which is a
around
W for Americans, and it's a W for the agents, actually.
from the people here. Some officers and agents had them, some didn't. That inconsistency was unacceptable, so we moved immediately to prioritize full body cam
What's up, brother Steve Easy? Good morning to you. Great to see you in the chat, bro. Good
deployment in the
morning.
city. I discussed this with
Oh,
Secretary
man,
Noem
doctor.
a couple of days ago, and she made the decision to deploy them. The plan is to deploy them nationwide, but it's a priority for the city right now. There's actually $20 million in the spending bill to further fund the deployment of body cameras. The president is supportive of this decision because we have nothing to hide. We want to be fully transparent in what we do. The American people seek and deserve professional and trustworthy law enforcement, and I and the president expect that any misconduct will not be tolerated and will be swiftly addressed. The integration, structuring, and resources we have implemented would help ensure accountability.
Yo, what up? Are we not men? Hopefully you're enjoying the morning so far. Definitely know the hell we are. Cheers to everybody. Make sure you guys hit that like button. Double tap the screen if you're on the vertical side. Thank you, guys.
And that targeted enforcement operations have a focus on national security threats and public safety threats. And they are conducted effectively, safely, and appropriately. Again, this is smarter enforcement, not less enforcement. For those who are not a national security threat or public safety risk, you are not exempt from immigration enforcement actions. If you're in the country legally, you are not off the table. And let me be clear, President Trump fully intends to achieve mass deportations during this administration, and immigration enforcement actions will continue every day throughout this country. President Trump made a promise, and we have not directed otherwise. I heard rumors we have, untrue. Given that many public safety threats on our communities, many of which poured across the border during the Biden administration, it makes sense to prioritize public safety risk right now. Again, prioritization doesn't mean you forget about everybody else. But we have a criminal here, a non-criminal here. The criminal has to be arrested first because they're the biggest threat to the community. My goal with the support of President Trump is to achieve a complete drawdown and end this surge as soon as we can.
Well, it sounds like you are to an extent with your own agents, not the surge of aliens or whatever the case is. But Homan's announcing somewhere in this that 700 ICE and Border Patrol agents are leaving Minneapolis.
But that is largely contingent upon the end.
What's up, brother So Loud? Good morning to you, and shout out to Boondocks in North Carolina, my man.
Of the illegal and threatening activities against ICE and its federal partners that we're seeing in the community. We will not draw down on personnel providing security for our officers. I will not let our officers be put at risk. So we will not draw down on personnel providing security and responding to hostile incidents until we see a change in what's happening with the lawlessness of the impeding and interfering and assaulting of ICE and Border Patrol officers. It is against the law to forcibly assault, resist, oppose, impede, intimidate, and interfere with federal law enforcement, including ICE officers and Border Patrol agents. Doxing law enforcement to threaten them and their families because they're executing their sworn duties to enforce immigration law that Congress passed is unacceptable. And it's shameful and incomprehensible to me that this unlawful and threatening behavior is being tolerated by anyone. As far as what I saw yesterday with the roadblocks being set up, you're not going to stop ICE. You're not going to stop Border Patrol.
Yeah, I did see those. What are they called? Like checkpoints, you know, that citizens made out there. And I couldn't even believe it. It was like a checkpoint to make sure ICE is not going inside the city or whatever the case is. It was laughable, bro. If any federal agents had to go through that, they would blast right through that bitch. I promise on that. They're not. And if they do stop, someone's getting shot, man. It's not a smart idea.
The only thing you're doing is irritating your community. You want to go get groceries or pick the children up or whatever. I talked to the chief of police, and he committed to taking swift action on those illegal roadblocks. They're illegal. We shouldn't tolerate them. Again, a complete drawdown is going to depend on the cooperation, continued cooperation of local and state law enforcement and the decrease of the violence, the rhetoric, and the attacks against ICE and Border Patrol. The federal law enforcement personnel, ICE and CBP and other partner agencies are patriots. And by...
Wow, real quick, I got to give a massive shout out. My man, Code, he's got a YouTube channel as well. Check him out, Official Code TV. And he is phenomenal, by the way. But he sends $10 in on the Cash App saying, just supporting my brother Mike Ball. God bless. My man, thank you very much for that. Goes a long freaking way, my man. Absolutely. So thank you for that. And God bless to you as well.
And they've carried out their duties patriotically, with integrity, with professionalism, and compassion. I've said this many times. These men and women don't hang their heart on a hook when they come to work. President Trump and I strongly stand with them in the critical work they do to prevent harmful or otherwise dangerous people from entering or remaining in this country. As part of the surge operation here, numerous criminal aliens have already been arrested. We've arrested 14 people who had homicide convictions, 139 people with sex-related offenses, 28 gang members. Correct me, 139 assault convictions, 87 sex offenses, 28 gang members have been arrested, just to name a few. We're taking a lot of bad people off the street. Everybody should be grateful for that. Who in their right mind would want these dangerous criminals walking around their communities? Everyone has a constitutional right to peacefully protest. President Trump and I, we completely support that.
Yeah, and so do I. I've said that from day one. And I think most of you guys here are the exact same way. Like, yeah, go ahead and protest, but don't be like getting in the fucking road, stopping traffic, literally burning down buildings. Don't be vandalizing shit. Don't be robbing, stealing. Don't be looting. Don't be spray painting. Like, it's pretty simple. Go off on your public sidewalk and hold your signs and with your bullhorns and shit and scream for justice, you know, or whatever you guys are out there protesting for. You know what I mean? I fully support that.
At the same time, professional law enforcement officers should and need to be able to perform their sworn duties.
What's up, Kel, up there in Canada, my man? Good morning to you. Great to see you in the chat. But unfortunately, you're still on the Facebook side. Did you never get your password recovered, dude, on your on your YouTube side?
Without being harassed, impeded, or assaulted. I want anyone to report instances of alleged misconduct or wrongdoing. There's a way to report that. The Trump administration is taking violations of 18 U.S.C. 111, which is assaulting, impeding, interfering. We're taking that seriously. If you violate the law, you will be federally prosecuted. In the past month, 158 people have been arrested for violation of 111. 85 cases have been already accepted for prosecutions. The rest remain pending. We've had 9 indictments of those who raided the church. And additional cases.
Don't be so harsh on yourself. It's all good, Kel.
They're being worked. Additionally, I've been saying this for almost a year now. Hateful, extreme rhetoric against ICE personnel is completely unacceptable. Please stop. I said back in March of this year, if the hateful rhetoric didn't stop, I was afraid there would be bloodshed. And there has been. President Trump and I, Secretary Noem, none of us want to see any bloodshed. It is no doubt encouraging and inciting certain people to violate the law, wanting to harm, and actually harm law enforcement and their families is unacceptable. I would implore the governor and the AG, the mayor, and other political officials to urge in the most strong and urgent way to ask for calm in the community and to end the resistance, the impediment, the interference, again, protest. But stop impeding, stop interfering, stop violating the law, because we will arrest you. In closing, President Trump and I would like to thank the men and women of ICE, Border Patrol, and other federal agencies on the ground here for your dedication to the oath you swore to enforce the federal laws and promote public safety through the work you do. That hasn't been easy. I know the sacrifices you made. I know the sacrifices your families make. I know your families worry about you every day. I know you've been away from birthdays and anniversaries and holidays. I appreciate every one of you. I wore that green uniform.
Let me go ahead and read this, what it just popped up on the screen. It says, Homan, we are drawing down 700 agents immediately amid operations. And then all agents will be withdrawn at, quote, as soon as we can, Homan adds. And Homan, state and local officials, quote, agree on need for public safety.
I love the United States Border Patrol. I was an ICE agent. I know the job you have. I know the tragedies you've seen. The president is with you. Again, I want to thank Governor Walz, Attorney General, and Mayor for the candid, insightful, productive discussions we had. Again, I'm not saying we agree on everything, but I think we all already accomplished great things in Minnesota. I am optimistic we will achieve even more in the coming days to make this city safer. I would also like to thank the numerous local law enforcement officials I was able to meet with the last 9 days since I arrived here. I appreciate hearing from local law enforcement, their perspective on what's happening. I appreciate the desire to enhance communications between their agencies and our agencies, and that communication has been vastly improved.
Good.
I truly appreciate your commitment to respond to federal law enforcement in the time of need. Every chief I talked to, every one of them, promised to respond to any public safety issue when our officers are out doing their sworn duty and people start crossing the line and they start impediment, interference. Every police chief has committed to doing their job and enforce public safety. We talked to a lot of sheriffs throughout the nation. We have unprecedented cooperation. I've yet to talk to a sheriff that said no. There's still more sheriffs we are in discussions with and talking to, but I have not heard no. I think they want to do the right things for the communities too.
Good. All right. Well, it sounds like they're in correspondence with one another. They're communicating. That's good. All right. Listen, that is our entire morning. We did that. Unfortunately, it wasn't under or within our hour normal time frame, but we're at an hour and 13 minutes. I very much appreciate you guys. We're going to be back tonight at 7:10 p.m. for the Diamond Effect, Central Standard Time, by the way. It's going to be a great time, so make sure you guys tune in for us. It's going to be a discussion about busyness and why we're busier than ever and feel like we're not getting anything complete. So anyways, stick around for that, as well as tomorrow morning. Obviously, we'll be back with more of the world's madness. But until then, God bless everyone and stay safe. Keep yourself warm out there if you guys are cold out there. And listen, we'll see you guys very soon. Much love, honor, respect to everybody.
From the depths of darkness, a voice emerges, a host with a fire burning.